Welcome to Speculation Sunday. Good morning. I know it's an early one, but we got a lot of stuff to do today, so that's why we're firing it up early. Usually we do these in the evenings, but today it's at 11, so thank you everybody that's joining us on this early midday Speculation Sunday. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to get straight to the points today because there's a lot of news that has transpired now throughout all the theme parks. Good morning. How you doing, Danny? How you been, man?
Good. We both had a chance to go to WonderCon yesterday, so that was fun. I don't know if you
We're going to talk about it. I love WonderCon.
Okay.
That was fun.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. But how was your week? How you been? Give us an update. Let people know where to find your podcast. And I know you posted a video recently too.
Yeah. So everything's been good. Just working. I posted a new video about Toontown. It's longer than some of my other videos. And Mondo's in there sharing his thoughts too about Toontown and kind of what we experienced on opening weekend. Overall, I think we both had a really positive opinion about it. I know some people had a negative opinion about it. There was just some not so okay things. We talked about all that. And then the podcast, the 5571, I talked a little bit about Toontown as well. And then a new episode we'll be posting tomorrow too. So just search for that on any podcast platform that you're watching on.
All right, let's get to it. Straight to the point. Let's hit the horn first, because damn! Is Splash Mountain news real or just speculation? I'll let Danny take over right here to start this one off. This was like, I don't even know why this happened at 7 a.m., but it did. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, so OC Register actually posted an article saying that Splash Mountain was going to close in May. And, Disney's been real hush about when the ride was going to close, which I truly don't understand the reasoning as to why. I think they just need to rip the Band-Aid off and close the attraction. Honestly, I wish it was already closed, to be honest, so they could just start working on it and people would just get over it. Because to me, it's super annoying that this is even a thing. But they posted the article, and a lot of people were saying it wasn't true. Some people were saying it was true. But coming from a source like OC Register, you'd think they had some sort of statement from Disney or some confirmation before posting something like that on their website. But they didn't, actually. And other, media heads that post a lot about Disneyland news, like Scott Goosen, they were remaining silent, not posting anything about it. And usually if it's some sort of statement from Disney, they've kind of given it to all the people, all the figureheads that they usually do, like Mice Chat and other main sites that typically get statements from Disney. And you'll see them simultaneously post something, typically, right, when like some kind of embargo lifts. But
yeah, I feel lots of the media that Disney breaks news to, it almost, like Danny's saying, a simultaneous, like all of them kind of post about it 10 a.m., 9 a.m., whatever whatever Disney's embargoes and stuff that they put out. But this one only came from OC Register. So that's why I was like, what? I guess but OC Register, by the way, has broke stuff like this, like big news from Disneyland specifically. So that's why I tended to believe that this is my YouTube video from earlier today, right there. May 6th was the one that they said, Danny, which kind of does seem right. In all reality, why is Splash Mountain even open right now? Like you were saying, they since changed it to Splash Mountain closure date at Disneyland still to be determined. So, for all the people seeking information, is it closed? Is it not closing? Date wise, we don't know. Disneyland's in the position where they're pretty much. That is incorrect information. That's like the stance that they're taking. They're not going to talk about a date. And I kind of want to almost stand firm, Danny. They're not going to give a date. I feel like Disneyland's not going to give a closing date. I feel like the S show is about to start building because it's like, oh, May 6th, the last day. We got to get our last trips in and blah, blah, blah. And as the closer we were getting into that first week of May, I could imagine Splash Mountain is going to be 3 hours because everybody wants to ride it for one more time. You know what I mean? It seems like Disney wants to avoid all that. I was going to say, Dave. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just saying they're trying to avoid kind of what happened at Walt Disney World. But yeah, I agree. I just want the ride to be closed, right? Like, I just want it to be shut. At this point, though, it also makes me a little scared, right? That this attraction is supposed to open in late 2024, and if they're giving themselves such little time to redo the attraction, how really good can this be? You know what I mean? And that's what makes me worried a little bit. We think about Toontown and how much work was done there. People say, "Oh, we got this brand new attraction." Well, we have to remember back to when Toontown was still open. The entirety of the building of Runaway Railway was already constructed. Remember, we had that sign on Runaway Railway's building that said, "This is not a building. Don't look here," trying to make a joke about it. So
Yeah.
that whole building and them starting to build the ride happened way before Toontown closed. So Toontown being closed for one entire year, actually more than a year, in all reality, they didn't change all that much. Everything kind of remained the same, which isn't a bad thing at all, because nothing was really wrong with Toontown. They just kind of brought it to a more modern state. And I guess you could look at it in a positive way that not a lot's changing about Splash Mountain now that we kind of realize that we don't have all that much time. That probably not a lot's going to change about Splash Mountain either, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because we all like Splash Mountain, right? We just want it to be brought to life in a way that kind of is awesome for Tiana, and I hope that they do, and they've done a lot of stuff off site to kind of bring in, but it just makes me a little worried about like still meeting those timelines. Like I feel like them
I feel like
continue.
it's not going to happen, Dad. I feel like 2024, that is like, they barely pull that off with Mission Breakout. I feel like this is more of a task because it's a full ride through, not necessarily an up and down in a digital, like, because the screen. I have a feeling it's going to be 2025, dude. That's just my thoughts on Splash Mountain. Like a
Yeah,
early, like a February, March 2025.
I could see them delaying it a little bit more than at least for ours, right? Maybe Disney World's opens first.
Yeah,
Uh,
Disney World, I could see that happen next year because they already started constructing, demolition. They're full into their rebuild and retheme. Our Splash Mountain is still zippity doo da day. Like it's that there's nothing has changed in ours. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah. I
I
think the main reason I just want the ride to be closed is I'm just done people talking about it. I'm done with the fighting. I'm done with the, oh, they shouldn't change it. I'm done with all that. Like just close it. Just close it. I literally can't comprehend. I can't wrap my head around why it remains open. We've had the worst winter season we've ever had in a really long time since probably you and I were kids.
they have it open.
And they've kept it open this entire time for some sort of ride capacity when in actuality every single day the rides had a 5 minute wait. Like just close it. Even if they're not going to do anything, just close the ride. Like
Makes
just
no sense.
stop the like back and forth with like all these media outlets and the rhetoric online about like, oh, it's not closed yet, so people are going to save the ride and they're planning on not changing it over and leaving it as Song of the South. And it's just like, just be done with the ride. Like
Let's
it's
move
done.
on. Let's move
Let's
on.
move on to something else. Like I'm just, but for those that were asking, OC Register posted a time. They didn't get confirmation. Unfortunately, they fell victim to a
Operating
lot
hour.
of operating hours posted on the website, which a lot of other, influencers, bloggers, YouTubers, whatever, have also fallen victim to.
It
And
happens.
it
Errors like
happens.
this, it happens. Yeah,
The
because
thing is that Disney just doesn't. They just don't. They don't update their website as regularly as they used to in the past. And so um, if they look at the operating hours in the future and they see that Splash Mountain's not listed, that's how we had all those blogs post about the treehouse and saying that the treehouse was going to close when or reopen at a certain date. And then Disney all of a sudden got news of that and then updated the website so that the treehouse was still down as refurb. So,
mm-hmm.
it's the same thing. Like Disney, like we can't rely on them updating their website because they're not updating it fast enough. So, in all reality, you have to just pay attention to what Disney's choosing to point out. Either they're going to post it on Disney Parks blog, or they're going to give it to all the people that they normally give it to, and they're all simultaneously going to post at the same time. And they're going
Yeah,
to post it, like Mondo said, like 9 or 10 in the morning on a
right.
Monday or a
Usually
Tuesday.
a Tuesday
Yeah.
or Thursday. That seems like
So
that's the
like
breaking news
but
days for Disney.
these one offs, unless like like there's some sort of leak, right? And then maybe they got some insider information that hasn't been shared yet. And then all of a sudden, after that one person leaks it, Disney will then confirm it like the following day. That's happened before too. So I think that's kind of just how we have to go about it. But I would not rely on the website for information on like when something's closing, right? Like you can rely on the website for information if you're going on your trip or planning stuff like that. But I would rely on like if something closing like this, an announcement from Disney, or just waiting for the walls to pop up. Maybe in the case of Splash Mountain, they just don't tell anyone and they just put the walls up.
Yeah.
So
And one thing too, I was thinking, with all this Princess and the Frog conversation, what about if the closure kind of coincides with the opening of the restaurant? Because I feel like that restaurant facade and that reimagining, I don't think it's going to take that long, Danny, of Tiana's Palace. So maybe Tiana's Palace opens with the closure of Splash Mountain, because it almost goes with the storyline. Tiana, getting her restaurant up and running, and the backstory that's going into Splash Mountain, it all relates to the continuation of Princess and the Frog. The ride's not going to really be based on the original movie. It's based on the Disney Plus story continuation. I don't even know where they're going to go with it all, but it's based on that. So maybe this is all like a theming, because we have Adora's Chic Boutique, which is already Princess and the Frog related. Tiana's Palace, which is going to be the restaurant that's taking the reimagining of French Market over there in New Orleans. And then we'll see what else closes. Like kind of coincide.
what happened?
Like the restaurant can open, and then the Splash Mountain will close. And then they'll put up the walls. Remember, like wasn't there like a lot of theming on the walls in Walt Disney World that related to like the restaurant or the salt mines and all that stuff?
Yeah, Disney shared that one post. I think it was during Black History Month, about the attraction and like some further storyline about like Tiana's foods and like
Mm-hmm.
the storyline of the attraction and how it's like abandoned salt mine, and that's kind of what is going to be like the storyline of how the mountain like exists in that area, because it's the bayou.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Tiana's Palace opens, and then they close Splash Mountain to be this storyline. I don't know. It's just a wild thought, but
Yeah,
because
I mean,
at the end of the day, we still have no date on Tiana's Palace, the restaurant. But I'm just saying, maybe the mountain here at Disneyland, it's just all part of the story.
yeah, I know someone in the chat, maybe it's Jamie Lynn or something, said that like Walt Disney World's almost done on the outside. That's definitely not true. Walt Disney World and Disneyland have a giant tree hanging out of the top of their Splash Mountain, right? And as you can see in the artwork that Mondo is just showing, that's not there. So they need to make that into a hill. They have to change the whole landscape of the outside. For the most part, a lot of it's remaining the same, but if you remember from the model, there's a lot of like swamp trees that don't exist on Splash Mountain because it's not themed to the bayou. It's themed to Critter Country, which is like an imaginary place. So, they've removed the briar patch already, right, from Splash Mountain over at Walt Disney World, but they still have to construct a full bayou scene on the outside, including those giant trees, bringing in the water tower. They have to remold the entire top of the mountain so that it's a hill. There's a lot of work that has to be done on the outside. As far as the red rock theming with like the grass, I don't know how much of that's changing. It looked like it remained in the model. So
Yeah, that looked like it
too much
stayed.
of it, but they're definitely far from done.
Yeah. Big thank you to Mark W. 5 fires, Mark. 21 months of membership. Thank you so much. Happy Speculation Sunday. Let's fire up them lights. Hell yeah. 5 fire. Dude, love you, Mark. 21 months, baby. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let me catch up. We got a Venmo super chat as well. Hold on. If you would like to support the fight, you can always support me fully. It goes to at the Cali Bay on Venmo. And we got a super chat from Kaylee. Dropping 5. Do you know why characters aren't around Disneyland or DCA? Is it staffing issue? during COVID, there were way more characters, but now it seems characters are so hard to find besides Toontown. My quick thoughts on that question: this is the slow season. um, Normally, like January, February, March, it's not really. I don't want to say it's not the time to go to the parks, but it's supposed to be a slow season. Kids are in school doing. People are going back to work, after Christmas time and all the holiday stuff that happened. For the most part, Disney really never even stayed open past like 7 during these times. But things have changed, and their demand has forced them to go into 10 o'clock closures, 12 o'clock closures, now to the point where they're doing daily fireworks and daily phantasmics, and it's crazy. But I don't think the staffing, it's probably still really hard for them to find staffing from every aspect of their business, not just characters, but their business. And I think one thing too, maybe Magic Happens has something to do with it as well. People could only get staffed for so many hours accordingly. Maybe Magic Happens has something to do with that. Because a lot of characters do come out in like a cavalcade kind of portion of Magic Happens, where you got Genie, Aladdin, Wendy, Peter, Blue Fairy, all that. But that's my answer. Can you think of anything else, Danny?
No, I think you kind of like, that's where I would theorize too. So
Yeah, I would say though, I could confidently say, Disney's going to step up their characters big time come probably late April into May, because this year is going to be a very big year for Disney. Summer, I feel like, is going to be probably super demand. Magic Happens everybody wants to see Magic Happen. There's like this 80% of people that haven't seen Magic Happens that are fans of Disneyland, and they're just waiting to book their trips or come for summertime. Because I always get lost in this feeling, because everybody around me has seen Magic Happens, but in all reality, the world hasn't seen Magic Happens. They haven't even seen Wondrous Journey yet in person, especially with a lot of cancellations that have been happening with wind and rain and stuff like that. But Kaylee, I hope the characters come back. If I had to say, late April into May, we'll start seeing a lot more.
We got a gifted membership from Arlene. It went to Winged Nike.
Oh damn, Arlene, let's go! After this live stream, I'm gonna do a 30-minute live stream with just the members of Five Fire Community. So stay tuned for that. Thank you, Arlene. And then we also got another gifted, Danny.
Yeah, from Darnell Wright to Peter Darmanian.
Let's go. Let's go. And then we also got 1 month of membership from Sammy Walker. Sammy. I think they should have closed Splash forever ago. Hope you boys are well. Danny's been in that boat for a while. It should have just been closed already. Just moving on.
They should have closed at the same time on both coasts.
Yeah. All right, we're going to start off today with Universal Studios Hollywood. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's start off with Universal Orlando with for those that maybe haven't seen your video about the Bowser Challenge. Tell us about it. Let's walk us through the Bowser Challenge and what it tastes like. And it was honestly, the meat was looking a little pink inside. I was kind of scared.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that. Okay, so Bowser's Fireball Challenge has arrived at Toadstool Cafe. Pretty much all these ingredients that go into making this are all spicy, from that marinara to the meatball, a bunch of spices going into that, to that sauce that's right above me right here. It's all hella spicy. But Danny, I did see that the meatball was looking a little red when I opened it. And I had to ask the worker that was there. And he said it's because it's pork and beef. That's why it's supposed to look like, there you go. It's right there. Because I asked him, I was like, hey, man, this is $25. Did you guys cook it all the way? He's like, no, it's supposed to look like that. Like, if I served you another one, it would look like that. I was like, okay, cool. But when I ate it, There was nothing wrong. I didn't feel like it was undercooked or nothing like that. This dish, to me, I am not strong with the force when it comes down to spicy food. I couldn't handle it. I didn't finish it. I think if it was like a two-person type of thing, we could have easily demolished that meatball. Um, I thought it was a lot of fun. I took it at like a lot of these new foods and stuff that are coming to theme parks. I take it more as like this is something fun to do than like I'm getting my $25 worth, because 25 is a lot of money for a meatball and like a little croissant or the breading that comes with that looks like Bowser.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I thought it was a lot of fun. It was something new to do. I don't know if I would do it again because that Mario and Luigi burgers are just so good next time I go. But if you've never done it, you're in the mood for something spicy, I do recommend it. It lives up
We
to the
got
hype. Lives up to the
we
hype
got
for sure.
we have member Peter Darmanian. He mentioned the Bowser bread looks a lot like the Porto's meat pie kind of texture. Was it? Did it taste like a Porto's pastry mondo? That texture?
Yes, it's like very soft, very it's like very flaky. I would say it does remind me of that, Peter. I agree.
What's the sauce that you dip it in?
It's vinegar based, dude, and I couldn't handle it. I chickened out, dude. I was gonna First of all, I was gonna drizzle it all, like we're doing the fireball challenge, but
Yeah.
I retreated real quick. I was like, yeah, because I tasted it with the fork, just a little tab, and I'm trying not to cuss right now. I was just like, holy smokes, this is like legit spicy. But
So
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was
we
worth it.
as far as the Super Nintendo world, so we saw back in, gosh, I don't even know when it opened in Hollywood. I remember when it opened in Universal Orlando, but when the Wizarding World of Harry Potter first opened in Hollywood, they didn't use virtual queues back then. But obviously, we have, Secret Life of Pets used virtual queue for quite a while. So we saw virtual queue come back for Super Nintendo World. As far as Wizarding World of Harry Potter, it had a queue for a really long time to get into the land, and people had to exit before you could come in, kind of thing, for a good amount of time, and then it just kind of became open. What has the experience been like now at Universal, since you've kind of experienced it a little bit more than most of us, about like virtual queue, not virtual queue? Like, what is that like?
Yeah, well, let me show you. When I was there this past week, like 3 days ago, this is what it looked like with no virtual queue. That was the line to play a power band game. And let me see if I could. Yep, there you go. You could just walk into the land with re-enter. To play power band games, you're going to be like 20 to 30 minutes for one game. And to do Mario Kart ride, Bowser's Challenge, it was like 150 minutes to 200 minutes. And we're talking at a time where Super Nintendo World has no reservation. Um, Toadstool Cafe is just absolutely gone. Pretty much 9:30 in the morning. You're not going to find one after that for the rest of the day. Uh, the thing about Super Nintendo World, and real quick, Universal Studios dad with the super chat, dropping the fire. Thanks for chatting with us last night at Hogsmeade. We were the family of three at the end of the night. So nice to finally meet it. Nice to meet you. I hope you enjoyed Dark Arts. It was so good yesterday. But it was very cold. But nice to meet you, Universal Studios dad family. Thank you so much for supporting the fire. And I hope you guys had a wonderful night. Thank you so much. There's a lot of things that go through my mind, Danny, when I think of Super Nintendo World. I got to visit Super Nintendo World, the soft opening, and into the annual pass holder preview. I got to, I was blessed enough and humbled to go through a media event. So I got to experience a low crowded Super Nintendo World. But now that it has opened, we've been going through a lot of ups and downs with the reservation process. And supposedly they've been doing a lot of days where there's no reservations and they just let people into the land. And I don't know what the right answer is, because I've heard there is a lot of conversation that families buy power bands at City Walk at the Universal store at the entrance, right when you walk into the theme park, and then they get denied. They don't get a reservation to enter the land. So how happy are you as a family to buy 2 to 4 power bands and you can't even get into the land? You're pissed. You're not happy. So I understand the concept too of like, hey, just open the land, let people come in. Guest experience is just not manageable when everybody. The thing is, I almost feel like Universal. It's a lot to ask, but they should have pulled off like 2 things opening, because right now the new shiny toy is Super Nintendo World, and everybody that's visiting wants to do that, and the amount of fandom and love for Nintendo is ginormous. If you can't even imagine and fathom how big it is, so
Yeah.
everybody wants to go to that. So it's like this weird kind of shift that's happening, that everybody heads to the lower lot first. And now that like we don't know, is there reservations? No reservations? Oh, there's no reservations. You best believe all that morning crowd is going to head to the lower lot and do Super Nintendo World. Everybody wants to do that first, because if you could knock out Super Nintendo World, Mario Kart, Power Band games, Toadstool, you already feel like your trip is already well worth every dime and dollar that you paid for. And then everything after that is money, Studio Tour, Jurassic World, whatever the case might be. But I don't know how they combat this, Danny, because the crazy part, how it's all been playing out now, seems really weird that like special effects and animal actors closed before all this, because I feel like it would have helped out a lot if those 2 were still open right now, to combat the whole everyone heading to the lower lot. But what I'm getting at the end of all this, with no reservations, I'll give you an example. I was trying to just punch a box that was, one of the boxes on the wall, not a power band game, a box on the wall. There's like 10 kids just hounding to be next. You know what I mean? And not just kids, adults and kids. Everybody wants to punch the box. So it's just like this weird scenario of like, there's just too much demand. The only thing I could hope out of all this, it pushes Universal more faster to expand, because people want more Nintendo, without a doubt. And I feel like this could be a really great, like, I don't want to say learning process, but it could lay the foreground for even a bigger expansion if it ever does come to fruition.
Yeah, I
What are
agree.
your thoughts, Danny, on the whole concept of no reservations?
Maybe the nice part is that maybe, well, I think what really pushed, and I feel like, Crystal and Chris can kind of talk on this a little bit too. They posted actually a member message. I want to talk to you first before I start sharing my thoughts. But from Crystal and Chris, member for 21 months. Wow.
Woo! Let's go!
They put early access for Super Nintendo World is where it seems like it's at. Sold out 2 weeks in advance, so plan accordingly. And it's true. It's planned. It's planned really far out. People are starting to sell that out. Spend $25 a person to get that early entry. For a lot of people, like Mondo was saying, it seems like it's worth it for them. It's getting their vacation off to a right start. And some frequent members who want to continue playing the games and building up their score, to them paying that price is worth it for them too. So it's really just kind of where people lie with that. But I think the reasoning Universal might have in regards to
all of April's gone. All
the reason why Universal might be pushing to just open the land and not have the reservations is, like Mondo is saying, there's probably a lot of concerns with the power-up bands. Buying them in anticipation to go in and then not being able to go in is a huge problem for them. But in addition to that, you have to understand too what kind of crowd control issues that brings to the lower lot, because people just kind of clog in front of Transformers, in front of Panda Express, and that whole area, just trying to wait around to see if they can be let in, or if it's time for them to be let in, or confused. And so if they just allow it to be coming in, Mondo was saying, when I asked him, I said, what did the lower lot look like when it was just open? And he was saying, on the outside of Super Nintendo World, you couldn't even tell. but as soon as you walked in, it was just insane. And I think that's kind of their goal with it, is like by them just opening up the reservations and not doing reservations to get in the land, look how much it improved the area around the outside of Super Nintendo World. I think that's probably their intention. They probably get to a point where it's just too much and they need to just open it. And then on
Because
lower days, they can manage it.
right in front of Transformers, that's where they would stop people to check if they have their QR code reservation to enter Super Nintendo, from like Transformer entrance all the way to like pretty much Mummy entrance. It was just a S show of people, a whole crowd of people trying to enter Super Nintendo World with their return time. Now that they just opened Super Nintendo World, it has freed a lot of that up tremendously. So, like you were saying, Danny, it has helped that whole concept of flowing the crowds better.
Yeah.
It hasn't helped it hasn't helped the demand. It's not curved. The demand's insane inside the land, but it does look a lot better. But thank you, Crystal and Chris. By the way, Crystal and Chris posted a vlog that goes over Screen Break, and that's over there at Six Flags. You guys should check that out if you are interested, because I know a lot of people are in the should I go? Should I not go? Check out Crystal and Chris's video, and I want to try that new burger, that chicken sandwich you had, Crystal and Chris, at McDonald's. Watch that video if you guys want to see what I'm talking about.
We got a new member, James B. Welcome to Five Fires.
James B, what is up? Oh, damn. Hold on. Where are we at? There we go. Found it. James B. Thank you for joining the fire, James.
And then we got SoCal Imagine, who gifted a membership that went to Jennifer Acuna.
Oh, there, Jennifer. Let's go. Dude, thank you for gifting the membership. Thank you guys for growing the Fine Fire community. That's so awesome. Appreciate that, SoCal Imagine. Let's go. I'm just going through the comments right now.
Yeah, we got a member message from Rebecca Tapia, who's been a member for 21 months, almost 2 years again, just like Crystal and Chris. Says, happy Sunday, enjoying the parks today. Perfect weather. Finally, right?
Five fires for the weather. I know. It's beautiful out there.
I know.
Take advantage, everybody. Beautiful day today. James also says, my wife and I watched you for years, but just joined the Fine Fire community today. Keep up the great videos. Thank you, James. Let's go. Thank you, man. Let's see. SoCal Imagine also says, early entry is a must for anyone without a season pass, or even someone with a season pass traveling from out of town. Yeah, at first, the early entry, I was like, it's a must. If Super Nintendo World's important to you, early entry is literally like VIP. There is always a chance that the ride might not open at early entry, because I know that happened today actually, but that's like out of the control of people. It happens. So always be kind and courteous to all the team members out there at Universal. They're amazing. They're always trying to create that movie magic for everyone. We got Rebecca. Let's go. 21 months of membership. 5 fire. What's up, Rebecca? Happy Sunday. Enjoying the parks today. Perfect weather. Finally got to that one, Danny. Thank you, Rebecca. And then Skull Style says, we're nervous. We're going for the first time next week, and we're preparing our Nintendo-loving kid that we might not even get in or not able to do Toadstool. It sucks. I can't emphasize this enough. If Nintendo's important to you and they open at 8 in the morning or even 9 in the morning, because those are their opening times, go at least an hour before. And I'm talking about you're at the security an hour before the park opening, because I've seen Universal, they're tending to let people in before the park even opens, just to kind of push the crowds through into the theme park. Lots of times they let even people head down to the lower lot. Not necessarily that they let you interact and enter with the early entry crowd, but hey, you could at least be on the lower lot, and it's not even opening time. You'll be there before, so I don't want to say it guarantees you a Toadstool, but you're just ahead of the game by a lot by doing that hour early before opening. That's literally my best recommendation. Or you buy early entry. But even the ride has been breaking down for early entry people. Yep, it happened today. It happened today. That is a bummer. You pay the $20, but at the end of the day, you could still do the power band games because that will not be too crazy. Another thing that has also returned at Universal Studios Hollywood is dark arts. It finally came back. I had a chance to do a live stream. I'm going to post a video of the show in its entirety by itself. So like we could just have the 8-minute show like not in a live stream. I'll post it just a separate video. The projections were beautiful. I was just like, wow. I was very impressed of how it was all coming to life at Universal. One thing about this, it was once again, and it was the big issue back in the day, it's just too windy. It's just too windy. So the drone portion of Dark Arts did not happen. I know there was also some conversation. Maybe we get Death Eaters come to life with this show. No Death Eaters. It was just the projections at the castle. They did run this 4 times. So you just because you miss out on 1 or 2 of these, you probably still have a chance. This ran all the way in at 10 o'clock at night. So shout out to Universal for getting things stay open that late. That was pretty cool. When I was here, the family that commented a little bit ago that I met in Universal, they were saying they were just coming from Super Nintendo World. And one of the big questions that I had, Danny, was if is Super Nintendo World open the last hour or 2 of the park, or do they still ask for reservations and it's still crazy chaotic in there? And the family told me that you could just walk into the land and empty. It was just like you could do everything you wanted for the most part. And I feel like that was the same scenario that we experienced at Toontown, because Toontown was the same scenario as well. Extremely busy, so packed you can't even walk. Once fireworks came to closing, empty. It was just empty. And I feel like this is probably a common thing at Super Nintendo World, where if you are willing and can stay that late, you could reap the benefits of a lower crowded environment, and you didn't even need a reservation to enter that late. So I thought that was really cool. It's just you have to be prepared because it's very cold out there. Almost nobody lives close to Universal, so it's obviously a long drive late at night, but it's a good recommendation to know that most likely you could have a less crowded, enjoyable experience at Super Nintendo World, the 1 to 2 hour last hours of the park closure. Any thoughts on all that, Danny?
Well, we have someone in the or Jennifer Acuna, actually new member. She said Death Eaters coming soon, and then did the little like shh. So, are you still hearing rumors, Maldo, that the Death Eaters might be coming still? But just
no, I've heard nothing. But I hope it happens. And if Death Eaters come, I like almost want to say I am wishful and asking, can they come with magic, very similar to what they do in Florida? These Death Eaters are literally popping off fire and fireworks and changing the lights and the music. Like it's crazy, dude. They do a lot. Those Death Eaters over there in Florida are amazing. And I'm pretty confident our Hollywood version, they could get it done. The creative teams at Hollywood are amazing. They're amazing.
Yeah. I'm happy to see it back. I'm happy for them to bring other things to kind of pull people away from Super Nintendo World. It's truly like Mondo and I were just, since this is Speculation Sunday, we were talking about just how big Universal truly is when you bring away when you add to it the tram store, right? If you just Google like how many acres is Universal Studios Hollywood, and they talk about like it being almost 500 acres, which puts it like as big as like Epcot, right? In Walt Disney World, which is huge. But in reality, like the theme park portion of it that you actually walk into is not very big at all. In fact, like total space is probably just like what DCA has, but you have to think about it. It's split over like 2 large pieces of land that you have to go on all these escalators on. So it makes it even smaller. So that's kind of why Universal really struggles with a lot of like expanding space. But then we were talking about, look how much space Super Nintendo World has took, which was not all that much space when you think about it. Just kind of like the space of an old soundstage with like maybe some additional space around it, and how much money and how much attention that's bringing. And look how much space the studio tour as a whole and its attached, attractions is taking, and how much money it brings. Which I don't know how many people travel to Universal Studios just for the studio tour, and maybe that was a little look into why Universal was talking about in those surveys. If the studio tour could be something that we would pay extra for. Maybe they plan on changing it a little bit to make it something a little bit more valuable. But right now, that studio tour, a lot of it's taken up a lot of valuable theme park space. That's what Mondo is saying. And I tend to agree with that a little bit. So,
Yeah, let's ask that question, Danny. Uh, I know the studio tour is like iconic to Hollywood. It's kind of what separates a lot of stuff from all the other theme parks. Is we actually have this live studio filming lot, and you get to experience and go through it all. Uh, I'm just asking this question to ask this question. Okay, I don't have no speculation. This is speculation Sunday. We're just having fun. What about if we lost the studio tour and essentially got this massive expansion of the theme park? Would you be open to that? Would that interest you? Is that a good idea? Is that a bad idea? Terrible idea? Post in the comments right now. I would love to hear what our community says on that thought. What are your thoughts, Danny? If we were to say lose the Nope area, the blue screen area, War of the Worlds area, all the way into Bates Motel, all that got demolished in a theme park expansion. What are your thoughts? Or is it too iconic and too pivotal of a thing that we cannot lose those areas to theme park? That's part of that's studio tour. We need the studio tour. What are your thoughts, Danny?
there's a sense of movie magic to some of it, right? Like especially like War of the Worlds, and some of the iconic things in the studio tour that were used as film locations. Um, those things I think like should remain part of some sort of tour on the lot, like the way that Warner Brothers has theirs, right? Where you spend a few hours going through the lot, maybe getting on and off the tour bus. But there's a lot of space that's part of the tour that's a little bit gimmicky that could be used for more theme park space in a space that's so confined, like Universal Studios Hollywood. Like you're mentioning the blue screen area, like that space over there. Um, like I know the Jaws segment of the studio tour is like pretty iconic for like people remembering Universal Studios Hollywood, but in actuality, like how much of a draw is the Jaws portion of the studio tour for guests wanting to, like, is a guest going to fly out to Universal Hollywood just to experience the Jaws segment of the studio tour? Probably not. Would they be upset that it's gone? Yeah, because it's something they remember. But I think they have to think about, with such little space, like how each space is used. And some of those locations on the studio tour can seem a little dated, and with the attention that just this small space from Super Nintendo World is getting, how much potential there is for them to expand into these properties that can make the lands more immersive, like they do in Orlando, can bring a lot of competition and extra tourism to this space that they really want, that maybe they're not getting, um, and seeing themselves as a major theme park competitor in Southern California, and not just everyone assuming that Disneyland's the only one and like Universal's what you do if you have extra time. So like I'm okay with Fast and the Furious going away. I think it's stupid. Like, and
I,
that's a pretty big portion of the studio tour, including that like blue screen area that they've cleared out already.
Dude, you know how much theme park we could get if we lost the Fast and Furious and Nope area? Dude, that's a lot of theme park right there. Like
Yeah,
a lot. But what I was gonna say, Danny, um, back in the day, we saw surveys about studio tour being something that you would have to pay for,
yeah.
and we took it as like you would have to, like an early entry, this $28 extra fee to do a studio tour. What about if the studio tour does lose sections Oh, Max is like, let's talk about it. Yeah, I can't wait to take him to Universal. Um, what about if we lose sections of the studio tour, but it becomes a VIP only experience where it's more catered to like I don't want to say a one on one, but like a more personal experience for the VIP guest. And then you would still probably do your Jaws and your earthquakes and stuff like that, but maybe like the Fast and Furious, Nope, War of the Worlds, all that would be gone. But then you would probably go into different portions in that VIP bus that they have. It doesn't have to be trams anymore. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there, but I feel like people would be hella pissed to lose the opportunity to ride the studio tour. Like the only way I'm doing the studio tour is a VIP. But if we got like 3 new lands, I think it's a really good argument, especially if Diagon
Well,
Alley came and who knows
yeah,
what else was more Nintendo. It's hard to argue all that because Fast and Furious and those portions that I'm talking about, Nope and War of the Worlds. I'm just saying those ain't making money. If you throw in Diagon Alley, billions. You're making ridiculous more money. You throw in
yeah,
more Nintendo, you're freaking printing money. Like you might as well be a bank because they're making. It's just what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
yeah. I think too, you have to look at it from a business perspective too, and if you look at it the way that Warner Brothers does their studio tour, that in and of itself is a day experience. Even though it doesn't take all day, it may take only like 3-4 hours tops in total. That's still like enough where a family would be okay with doing that for the day and then going back to their hotel. So if we're looking at all these rumors coming true about Universal Studios Hollywood becoming a resort and then potentially adding their own resort hotels instead of just the Sheraton and the Hilton like they have right now, turning the studio tour into a separate experience, like Mondo said, where it's more intimate, more VIP. Like it's like Warner Brothers, where you have a guide that's with you, and you're getting off the bus, and you're looking at the sets, and you're walking into it, and you're having like another person come in and talk about the house that you're in, and over here talk about War of the Worlds or whatever set that it have, or be like, hey, this is the Nope set, like this is how we recreated it, but this is the exact set that it was, like going into a more depth on it. That could be truly Universal Studios like second park, right? But very specific to Universal Studios Hollywood, whereas Orlando, they're going for more like space and extra theme parks like Epic Universe. Like this is a working studio, like Mondo was saying. So have your second park really just be this studio experience, and then the theme park's a separate thing altogether, where you get to live the movies, and then the studio tour is like to see how it's made kind of thing. And so
Mm-hmm.
it could truly be a total speculative thought that like that's kind of the direction they take the resort. I'm on the same boat where like War of the Worlds can go, like it's been around long enough, and it's to a point where like I don't feel like that movie was really as iconic as some of the others like Jaws and stuff like that, right? Like I'm okay with War of the Worlds going, Fast and Furious going, all those spaces to make more room for things. I feel like Jaws, like in and of itself, it's kind of a cheesy addition to the studio tour, but it's what makes it the studio tour. So I don't know. At Kong, I'm like, it's not the same Kong, right? It's not the Kong that we used to have from when it burned down, unfortunately. So to me, the Kong right now, it's kind of fun, but at the same time, like I've seen Mondo fall asleep in there before, so
I, dude, I do this all the time at like Kong and Fast and Furious. I do this right here. I go. And if you think you're kidding, watch. I do it all the time. It's like I take it as like this is like a nice 5 minutes to just rest. But I will say this. I will say this. Kong and Fast and Furious. Every time I ride it, as soon as it ends, the kids and the families that this is their first time ever, they're always like, "Yeah, yeah, that was crazy," and I'm always like, "Dude, still to this day, people loving this experience." Just recently, I saw Theme Park Shark posted a video. He did a vlog of Orlando, and it made me think. People gotta wait hours to ride Kong in Florida. This is just part of our studio tour. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna appreciate our Kong a little bit more because we get Kong included with this whole package of a studio tour. So instead of like just one attraction being Kong, like over there in Florida, you have to wait an hour or more for Kong, and that's all you get. You just get Kong. But I do that all the time though, Daddy. I do one of these. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like it's like my little 5 minutes of rest. All right, closing thoughts on Universal.
Um, I think the future is bright for Universal, right? Like there's so much potential on where it can go, and I feel like we're gonna start seeing a lot more changes come. I think the craziness of Super Nintendo World is like what Mondo was saying earlier. It's like um
A very
it,
good bad problem.
a good like look into the future of like maybe them being like, hey, look, like this, like we've got another really successful franchise that people love, that spend a lot of money on, and that will do really well for our theme park. So I'm excited to see where they take it.
Yeah, my final thoughts on today's conversation. Uh, Universal future is brighter than it's ever been before. Now that they have made Super Nintendo World real, it's done. It's a land you could walk into right now. That's an amazing feat in itself. And to know this is the box office of Universal movies, the most that they've ever made. They have Jurassic in the park. They have Fast and Furious already in the park. They have Minions in the park, and then Secret Life in the park. Uh, you best believe Nintendo will be up there in that box office. So, from a company perspective, all their top 10 heavy hitters of making money, they have those properties, not all top 10, but like properties in the top 10. They have them in the theme park with the space that they've got already. And Harry Potter's in there too. Universal, I hope whatever's happening behind the scenes, there's just this massive expansion coming because the community of theme parks and the fans of Universal, everybody's going to open it with the biggest arms and be ready to enjoy this new era of Universal. I feel like the conversation has always been Universal is small and they don't have space, and then I have a feeling at some point in time they're just gonna blow that concept out of the water and be like, bam, Donkey Kong, Nintendo, something else, Diagon Alley, Fast and Furious, more Jurassic Park, more Jurassic World. I feel like that day is gonna come, and I hope to be alive for that day because I love Universal Studios Hollywood with all my heart, and to see it succeed like this, it's an amazing feeling. Amazing feeling. All right, let's move on to Knott's Berry Farm. Let's go. Oh, damn. Hold on real quick. Ian Grimm. Before we move on to Knott's, he says, have you heard any speculation about Simpsons? I know that they closed for refurb, but they reopened. And let me tell you, Simpsons right now, as we're speaking, 95 minutes. If Disney could just, these are my thoughts. These are my thoughts on Simpsons. They already have all this foundation of Simpsons already done and alive right now, and whatever contract is happening, I'm pretty sure Disney's like, we don't even want to worry about Simpsons, and we could make money off this by just essentially keeping this contract going. I think Disney's just going to keep it going. That's my thoughts on it. Why would Disney close that down, have them take out Simpsons, and make no money on that to then never probably bring it to a Disney resort in any kind of capacity? That's what I think. And Universal invested on their whole facade of Simpsons, that whole crusty and all that facade. They repainted all of that, which that's a lot of money. So I don't see Simpsons going anywhere. That's my thoughts. All right, Knott's Berry Farm, Danny. So Boysenberry Festival has been a lot of downs and a lot of ups finally. And I bought a lanyard it's $55 and there's no discount, no annual pass holder discount. I'm still shocked on that, but it is what it is. Um, I went to Boysenberry Festival for round two. I got to try the loaded potato bowl, which I gave it one fire. I did not like. But I think the recurring conversation that I'm having with a lot of people, anything that has that boysenberry cheese sauce, just stay away. I don't know what's happening with that sauce, but all the people I keep talking to, nobody has liked it. So my recommendation right now is just stay away from the boysenberry cheese sauce, and you're most likely going to have a good tasting tab experience with whatever you're doing. For the tasting tabs, there is one thing I totally forgot, and I was like, I'm for sure going to do this on my round three of Boysenberry Festival. You could use it on alcohol. You could use your tabs on alcohol. And the mudslide, which someone told me is $18. Damn. I will be using my tab on a mudslide because that's the big difference between like a food and wine and a boysenberry. At actual boysenberry festival, you could use tabs on alcohol if you're of age. So I will be getting alcohol with my tabs. Anybody going out to Knott's Berry Farm to just go drink, probably buy a tab, and you could save a lot of money on the tabs because it comes out to like around $9-10, and all these alcoholic drinks are above that. So you're kind of on the success side of things. Jen says the thing with Knott's food is you have to get it when they first bring it out. If it's not fresh, it's not good. I felt the wrath of that. The festival food sits with those metal bins too long, and that was my argument, Daddy. Is that you could just taste that this has been sitting there for a while. Like I don't know what that taste was, but our Knott's Adventure, follow her on Instagram. She has so much info when it comes down to Knott's in general. But she's already taste tested a lot of foods, and I always trust in her recommendation. It's just Knott's, just like any other food festival, inconsistencies happen. You know, it is what it is. Maybe the next time I do get the loaded potato, it's probably better, but my experience was not. We got Rick Nick with the super chat real quick. What's up, Rick? I have talked about this before. Knott's has a ton of free parking nearby. Buena Park Mall, Rock and Brews, easy walk to Porto's and Starbucks. Thank you. That is true. That is true. If you park at the edge of the mall, I could imagine it's pretty much the same walk as if you parked over there at Soak City because it does get pretty packed at Knott's all the time. Are you going to be? Do you plan on going to Boysenberry Festival, Danny?
Man, I really wanted to. I'd like to go next weekend if I could. This weekend we got kind of sidetracked because of
WonderCon.
I didn't expect to be able to go to that this year, but I got tickets to go this weekend, so I was taking advantage of that, and so it kind of derailed my Knott's plans. But I'd like to go next weekend because I want to try the boysenberry meatball pizza. I was going to go to Wagon Wheel Pizza, but I just discovered from Mondo that you can get it at the new Prop Shop pizzeria over next to the Walter Knott Theater. So I'm definitely going to be going there to get it from there because it's probably going to be made more fresh. Like Jen was saying, fresh is better at Knott's. So I feel like Wagon Wheel Pizza, I just feel like they're not turning out pizzas as much as Prop Shop pizzeria is. So.
And lots of times when they cook the pizza, it's gone right away. Like Wagon Wheel Pizza, which is over there by Ghost Rider. Mm-hmm. Dude, that's a popular. People get pizza there all day, every day.
Like I literally can't wait to go. I can't believe Mondo hasn't tried that yet. Like, it's
so I just want to say
that you haven't tried it.
I get to talk to a lot of people, Danny, about like Knott's Berry Farm because a lot of the community, they always say hi, and I love talking to everybody. And I ask them like, "How's your day going? Have you tried any foods?" Because I'll see you wearing a lanyard. So I hear a lot from a lot of people. What's good? What's not good? And one lady said her favorite dish was the boysenberry meatball pizza. She said that was her number one. And I was like, damn, I can't wait to tell Daddy that because that's the one Daddy's been saying. For me and the YouTube videos I was trying to film, I was trying to do their new items that I've never had. Because in our reality, I could go to Knott's with my tabs and I already know what to get because I know what's good. But I wanted to try new things. And I tried the loaded potato, that buffalo mac and cheese with chicken. Those were both one fire. Do not recommend. And I ended up getting a sushi burrito, which I was shocked how good it was. I trust me. I know it sounds weird to be like a sushi burrito at Knott's Berry Farm was good, but it was. The other item I got with my tasting tab. What was the other item I got? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. I got the loaded potato, the mac and cheese. Oh, I've only got 3 items. The fourth item I did get was on the meal plan. It wasn't relating to the tasting tabs. I got the boysenberry corn dog with boysenberry mustard. And that thing was 5 fires. Shout out to all my peoples at Strictly on a Stick. You guys are amazing. It was one of the best corn dogs I've had in a long time. Like long time.
The question is, Mondo, one of your all-time favorite things ever at Knott's Berry Farm was the boysenberry sausage, breakfast sausage on a stick, like the pancake thing. Does it beat that?
Nah, I'm gonna say no. That boysenberry pancake sausage thing they did back in the day was ridiculously good. Strictly on a Stick's just fire. I love Strictly on a Stick.
Was that? I know it was from Strictly on a Stick. I remember getting it with you and Chris.
Yeah, it's Strictly on a Stick is like. It's like the Hungry Bear of Disneyland. It's just. But solid,
I was gonna say, I remember, was that during a festival when the parks reopened, or was that during one of the food events?
I think it was a food event, dude, because I haven't seen it again.
I want to say it was Halloween. So good. I think it was Halloween.
Wow, they need to bring that back. Laura Lee says the kale barbecue chicken salad is really good at Sutter's on the meal plan. Okay, you know what's another thing that one of the a lady I was talking to at Knott's, she was saying that her favorite go-tos are the salads from Prop Shop Pizzeria, and I haven't ventured into those salads because I'm gonna get pizza, but I almost feel like I want to do some meal plans and getting those salads because everybody raves about them. So if you're ever at Knott's and you're not about all these heavy meals, go to Prop Shop Pizzeria, which is over there by the theater, Berry Tales area. It's the new pizza restaurant. Go get yourself those salads. Everybody has raved about them. People really enjoy those. Is there anything you want to talk specific about Knott's? There's a couple things I do, but I want to ask you first, Danny.
No, we covered a lot of Knott's last weekend. We talked about the hotel closing and for Amber Waves, like the bottom portion and like the convention spaces. So just hopefully, we can keep track of that, see how long that's going to take. We talked last week too about, Knott's doing their March Madness with the old mazes and going through people's opinions about all the old mazes and what does that all mean in regards to, the 50th, because it's got 50th branding all over it. So it's, is not starting early. We know they're starting construction, right, on whatever used to be where Pumpkin Eater was.
Eater, yep.
I'm curious to see what goes there. And how cool would it be if we got a returning maze from the past there? So that'd be fun.
Let me go into some things real quick, Danny. This is what I want to talk about. This will be our last things for Knott's. Jen real quick says the lobby is closed off now too at the hotel. Very good info. Anybody heading out to the hotel? There's a lot of stuff going on over there.
Yeah. So. On your next Knott's update, Mondo, can we get a hotel update?
Hotel for sure. I'll make it to the hotel this coming week. I'll provide that update. I promise everybody. Darstar, the salads are good. They're really good, but they never have all of them. So it's a hit or miss on which ones they have, but they are very good. Yeah, that's another person. Thank you, Darstar. Hope you have a good weekend. You both have a wonderful Sunday. You both rock. Thank you, Illuminated Dreams. Real quick, what about HHN having the "See You in the Fog" logo? I've always interpreted "See You in the Fog" as that's a Knott's staple. Like you think of Ghost Town streets, it's fog. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't have any thoughts. It's just weird. It's really weird.
Knott's should have trademarked that. I don't know why they didn't get on that.
Yeah, that's what someone said, that it's not trademarked by Knott's. And I totally would have thought that phrase would be. "See you in the fog" is like the first thing I think of every time is Knott's. What I was going to say, Danny, Real quick, some scary farm conversation. We've all are Puppet Up has been in the theater for Not Scary Farm for like 3 years too long, and they're very adult, cussing, adult content from the topics. It is not for kids, without a doubt. And for
Right.
the most part, you know what you're getting into when you walk into that show because they tell you. And I have heard no negative feedback, nothing. It is what it is. You chose to be in there and you knew what was going to happen. There's been a lot of conversation that this was kind of like a setup and a test and a primer to bring back the hanging, which is obviously very adult, and those topics are pretty adult. And the hanging could come back in the theater with the same concept of like you know what you're getting in there, you know what you're the setup that's in there. It's adult, it's mature topics, and blah blah blah. I think for the 50th that was to be the case. I think it's a great move. I would love for the hanging to come back. To me, getting into Scary Farm, the hanging was always like, I can't wait to see what funny and cool stuff they bring up this year, what parodies they make fun of, what current event and situations they bring to life in a clever parody, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it has been super missed at Not Scary Farm. What are your thoughts on that one, Danny?
Well, what better to bring it back than for the 50th?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But yeah, you're kind of right. When it was on the main stage in Calico, there's no real censoring it, right? If there's a kid there in the event, which some might say, why are you even bringing kids to Scary Farm? But some people want to. There's all that adult content is out, and you can hear it no matter where you are in that vicinity. Whereas if it's in the Walter Knott Theater, like Mondo's saying, you're making it a point to go in there. They have the disclaimers before and after, talking about like the adult content, like they do at Puppet Up. So if you're walking into the theater, you're choosing to go in there and watch the hanging. So including all the adult jokes and you know depictions of different you know lives ending and stuff like that, that you're choosing to watch that. And I think a lot of Scary Farm fans and loyalists will love seeing it come back, and I don't think they would miss Puppet Up. They'd rather see something come back like this or Elvira, for the 50th.
Yeah, I'm ready for the hanging to come back. Pump it up. I watched it one time for the third year. I think I was like, I'm out. I'm not hating on Pump It Up. It's just it's been too much Pump It Up. I think I'm good. Before we get out of here with Knott's conversation, Jen, don't forget Easter Beagle returns Easter weekend, Friday through Sunday. So do not miss on Easter Beagle. I got to get a picture with the Easter Beagle. That's awesome. Thank you, Jen. All right, Danny, that's it for Knott's Berry Farm. Let's move on to Disneyland. Woo, 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 woo. All right, we already talked about Splash. I don't even care to get back into that conversation. I want to talk about Toontown. Now that we're another week of Toontown, how do you feel like the land's holding up, Danny? For me, every time I go to the app and I look at Toontown, like currently, I see a S show. It says 60 minutes for meeting Mickey, 65 minutes for the roller coaster, 95 minutes for Mickey and Minnie's, and most importantly, Roger Rabbit closed. Toontown's been a huge success. But Danny, what are your thoughts, dog?
Yeah, I think we talked about it a couple speculations ago, or right after the opening weekend. Was that it is a success, right? Like it's now a major draw inside Disneyland, and I would even go as far as saying there's more to do for kids, right, and families in general in Toontown than there is in Galaxy's Edge by far.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because you have three I would say major rides, right? Like people don't think of cartoon the Chippendales Critter Coaster or whatever, Gadget Coaster, as like a major ride, but we have to remember that for a lot of kids, the Chippendales Gadget Coaster is like their first roller coaster they ever go on. So it's a big milestone for a lot of people. Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin is another big draw with a really highly themed queue people love going into. It really just draws in the crowds. And then, of course, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, plus all the houses. There's so much to do there, and it's so much smaller than like Galaxy's Edge. So, I feel like this is another great draw for Disneyland to kind of increase capacity. They got all these things to increase capacity back there, and it's all working really, really well. We'll have to see if they bring some more fire to Cafe Daisy, because I feel like even though they have some really good options, it's not too much available back there, but I guess it is an improvement on what used to be there.
I feel
So,
like a salad needs to come there. It'd be really cool. Or this might be asking Disneyland too much, but some goofy, wacky, toony foods that are themed that Tokyo Disney does really well. Can we
yeah.
get some of that love here? They're like, here's some plain donuts with chips, hot dog, and a pizza flop over that has more grease than you could think of.
Oh, yeah. We
um,
got a, we got a super chat from Orange Grove 55. What's up, Orange Grove 55?
Orange
Uh,
Grove
they said
55.
they said Duckburg expansion for Toontown, please. Yes.
Dude, and that he mentions Duckburg. They have like Darkwing Duck candies in the display in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway over there at the concession stand, like when you're in the queue. I have a feeling those candies are coming, dude. If Power Limes could be a thing, and the Scrooge McDuck chocolates, and what do you think are the possibilities we get Darkwing Duck in Toontown, Danny?
I think there's a
For
lot of
Halloween, for Halloween. Let me rephrase that. For
yeah.
Halloween.
I think there's a lot of possibilities for them to do. They already kind of set the stage, I feel, in the first few weeks of a living land, right? They've got characters walking around Toontown like they haven't before in the past. You got Mickey and Minnie kind of in front of their house, like on their porch in the morning and in the evening. So it really brings a lot of life to Toontown. We haven't really seen Donald kind of over by his boat. We see Donald kind of walking around and stuff like that. But I really feel like they could bring a lot. They got Daisy in front of her apartment now, walking around her cafe. So
Yeah,
it's
and
like it's
greeting
really bringing,
guests, eating.
yeah, it's like a lot of life being brought into Toontown that didn't exist. It's really kind of becoming this living land like Galaxy's Edge. So maybe like Galaxy's Edge, like Avengers Campus, they bring all these other characters rotating in and out. They are best friend cities, right? With
Mm.
Duckburg and Hot Dog Town and all those other ones they listed on the sign. So maybe we do see characters from those. Like we have the Tailspin characters, right? We saw them for 90s night.
Yeah.
They have a Darkwing Duck costume. We've had it before. So, it would be cool for them to do like fun little weekends where like maybe Toontown welcomes Duckburg or something and they have all these different characters. We saw them, kind of bring back a lot of the DuckTales merchandise during D23 Expo. That was a big, very popular line of merchandise in the D23 Dream store. So, or the main store that they had in the middle of the show floor. So there's definitely a lot of potential for like this to be a full living land, and I think they kind of like probably already have thoughts about that. And I think
Yeah.
Mondo talking about like Halloween time could be a clue to some of that.
Yeah. I feel like Toontown's gonna have more than Pete. Pete's just the beginning. Um, I feel like there's big things happening for Toontown. Hopefully entertainment comes with Toontown. I'm really hoping they do. Like just like a cool little dance party that they do with characters. That would be crazy. Um, let me ask this real quick, Danny. Do you think, since we're on this topic of like characters, do you think After Dark events bring rare characters into Toontown? Since that's the whole gimmick behind After Dark events. You get characters that you won't ever see in a theme park hour. Do you think they do drop rare characters in Toontown now that it's open? Because Throwback Night's right around the corner, and then Star Wars Night. I don't know what kind of characters we could get for two of those, but Disney does rare characters at After Dark events, so it's a possibility. What are your thoughts?
Potentially, we have to remember too. Most of these After Dark events include fireworks, and Toontown can't be open during the fireworks. So it all depends on how long the event is, whether or not they would have Toontown open. Because if it's only a 4 hour event and they have to close it 2 of the 4 hours for fireworks, like I don't
Mm,
necessarily know that would make sense to form a line back there to meet a rare character.
yeah, I take it back then. That's true. I don't think Toontown will probably even open for After Dark events at all. Now
Hmm.
that you mention it, yeah, I forgot about the firework aspect because Throwback Night's gonna have fireworks and Star Wars Night has fireworks. Um, Real quick, we haven't talked about this in a long time. It almost seemed like people would get mad when we would talk about it, but I feel like we're past those days. This is the schedule for Inspire Key, Danny. Sold out last week of March. Saturdays and Sundays already disappearing. We're heading towards some crazy times. It's been a while since I've been like damn. There's days that are just gone. I feel like that wasn't a common thing like a month ago. Uh,
Yeah, it certainly was a lot easier to get reservations like a month or two ago, and now we're seeing like Disney hold back on those reservations. Like you could check like a week of, and then all of a sudden you would see see always people on Instagram post like, oh, a bunch of reservations are available, and like the whole week would open up again, and like people would book it all up, and like most people could get what they wanted. But like we're seeing these run out like weeks in advance, a month in advance, and then they're staying that way, and then
yeah.
potentially like maybe opening up the day before, but we not really lately.
Yeah, like we see Brian in the chat. I was trying to get a Tuesday reservation and never opened up. Yeah, the same day resis are gone, dude. They're not happening. With Disneyland, they've gone into doing fireworks every day now. They've gone into two Phantasmics every day. I feel like they've bumped up capacity for sure. In my opinion, it's getting pretty busy. And on the food and wine side, people are just food and wining it up. It's so busy at DCA. I almost prefer to just kind of stay at Disneyland if I can because DCA is just too crazy right now. Have you
You know,
got that feeling too?
it's funny that you mentioned that, Mondo, because lately when I'm seeing last minute reservations pop up again, and I'm not talking about day before, I'm talking about like um, in advance, like even during the food and wine period. It's funny because like when I'm checking, like the only thing that does open up is DCA, and I thought the same thing, and I was like, man, DCA is so packed right now. But then it's funny that like when they reissue reservations, they're like, here's DCA only, and it's like, what? Like you think you'd, and even, but I guess it doesn't really matter because food and wine starts at 11, and that's when you can hop. So
Yeah, I do love 11 Park Hop. It's so good. I'm
yeah.
glad. I wish Disneyland would have done it earlier, but it is what it is. Um, I forgot where I saw. I think it was Twitter. I saw someone did a poll if same day cancellation should come to Disneyland. Should it be you got to cancel it before the park opens? Like that's your cutoff. Should it be park hopping time, which is 11? Or should it be like you could just cancel any day of? What would you choose out of those three options? That would be a good thing for the park.
If they're going to allow same day cancellation, I think it should just be any time during the day because I think creating that time limit would create more issues, which is what they're trying to get around right now as far as like um, the guest satisfaction of it all and like people complaining and stuff like that. I think if you have a reservation and you don't remember to cancel it and you just let it roll over to the next one, kind of like if you had a doctor's appointment, right? Or if you had like some other sort of appointment and you just kind of forget about it and you don't show up, they'll still like charge you for that appointment, right?
Yeah.
uh, so but if you remember to cancel it and cancel the reservation, then there shouldn't be a penalty. But if you're just forgetting about it and letting it run through, then that's when you should get the penalty. But I think we're beyond the point where they need to like make you do it the day before.
Yeah. I asked everybody in the comments what they wanted to talk about. Rogers musical opening date speculation. So just recently, we had an announcement from Chris. He said he's going to DJ at Disney, which congratulations. And he said it's going to be like a creator lab type of thing. I have no clue what that's all going to be. But I was thinking, Danny, because Danny mentions this all the time. Disney likes doing kind of like bunching up media events and stuff to do. What about if they debut this coming Sunday the Rogers musical for those Creator Lab people? What are your thoughts on that? Because why bring a bunch of influencers and not do the musical? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could. I mean, and if you think about it, a lot of this community really wished that musical into existence anyway, right?
I feel like a lot of Disney Bounder cosplay. It's like a dream come true to have that musical come alive.
Yeah, so I feel like that I could see that being a possibility for sure.
Because what are they gonna bring their influencers to Toontown? Like Toontown's already is successful.
Yeah.
Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they do. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I think that's what it's gonna be. Maybe Rogers the musical. Have you covered the new Disneyland Tower room rates? Oh,
We did cover it a little bit.
you're
Right now,
looking at what 400 to 600 range.
no, so the okay, so just to clarify, because we talked a little bit about this, but we can go over it again really quick. So
It's
with the Disney
DVC,
Vacation,
DVC.
yeah, so it is Disney Vacation Club, right? So those guests get priority um, when it actually becomes a DVC resort. I don't know when they are going to flip that switch. They haven't started selling steak into the tower yet. When Mondo and I talked to the Disney Vacation Club specialist not that long ago, she told us that they would be selling steaks into into the new tower sometime in summer or late summer. So that's about when the tower is going to open. So we can expect, for right now, the tower is available for booking through the end of this year. And that's with cash only. So Disney Vacation Club members can't use their points yet to book it. But when it does switch over, it's going to be a DVC only resort like Riviera, like, you know, Saratoga Springs, and then anything that's not booked by DVC and is still available, then guests can book with money, and Disney will determine how many they allow to do that with, right? But right now we're in this really unique period where any guest can book it no matter what, because DVC guests can't book it yet with their points. But as far as range wise, the smallest room in the Disney Vacation Club tower at the Design Hotel is pretty small. It's not like a typical deluxe studio that you would find in the villas that have like a full kitchenette. It's just a room that only has one double bed in it, so it can sleep two people. And then it has, of course, a bathroom, right? And then like a small kind of kitchenette space where it's not even a true kitchenette. It has a microwave, it has a refrigerator, and like a countertop and like a sink. And I think that's truly all it is compared to like the 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom villas that have like full size kitchens with ovens and stoves and all that stuff. So the smaller rooms would be like pretty comparable, maybe, well, probably even smaller than a regular room, right? So you think about a regular Disneyland hotel room, it has 2 queen size beds in it,
Yeah.
and for the Disneyland hotel, especially like in the Adventure Tower, a lot of those rooms have a couch bed in addition to the 2 beds, so you can sleep like five guests in those rooms. But this new small room is like only has 1 bed in it that sleeps two. So, and those can run anywhere from 500 to 700 a night,
Woo!
depending on when you're booking, at least from what we saw when you call in. And then all the way up to the 3 bedroom, 2 story, sleeps 12, has full dining room, 2 double-story balconies. That was like 5,500 a night for the 3 bedroom grand villa. So that's your
You
price range.
said
And then all
let
the
me.
other ones,
You said 55.
yeah,
5,500.
5,500.
5,500.
Yeah, around that, like 4,000 to 5,500 a night. So that's what you're looking at to book in the big, expensive, massive room. I don't know how many they have. It looks like from the outside, facing the pools, they had two on that side, but I don't know how many in the whole tower they're going to have, right? Because the tower is sort of shaped like the letter T stuck on the ground. So there's like the long part of the T that goes back all the way to Walnut Street or Walnut Avenue, and
Yeah.
then the flat part that faces the pool was like the top part of the T. So from the artwork, you can tell, or even just looking at it from the outside in person now, you can tell that there's two of those 3-bedroom rooms on top of each other because of how big they are, and like you can see like the big balconies and stuff. So that makes sense. But like I don't know if there's maybe some on the backside or like on the other part. We don't know. But the Grand Californian, they have those 3-bedroom villas as well too. You can see right there the top two rooms. Those are the big grand villas on the left there. So
Crazy.
you can absolutely tell what that is. But yeah, right now this is just a period where you can book it, right? Because in all reality, once this becomes full DVC, there's probably not going to be an opportunity for regular guests to book it all that often.
We got Melissa. Did Disney think through about the stroller situation in Toontown? No, they did not. That's
Mondo
the
got
simple
confirmation
answer.
of that.
It's the simple answer. Disneyland just kind of like, hey, maybe strollers go away and we don't have to worry about them. Anything on Oogie Boogie ticket sales? I've heard nothing. Nothing. Have you heard even a hint of Oogie Boogie sales?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I
I
think
would
it's
love,
still too early.
yeah, I would love to see Mickey's Halloween party come back, but we know that's not happening. But
God,
we would love
I'm done with Oogie Boogie. Bring it back to
it. Right.
Disneyland. Kaylee says, let's talk. DCA will change its name or overall theme park theme. It has to at some point. There is no California Adventure anymore. That's a long gone. Um, I I don't know what they'll change the name to, but if Avatar comes and it's at California Adventure, I feel like a name change will probably come with it. You think they finally change the name when Avatar comes? If it does at DCA,
Yeah, I feel like a name change is inevitable for DCA. I know people love calling it DCA, right? So it's like, what do you call it? It's going to be so hard for people. It's kind of like when they changed Disney's MGM Studios to Disney's Hollywood Studios. Like so many people to this day still call it MGM Studios.
yeah,
So it's like really hard for them to transition. So I feel like everyone's going to call it DCA, even if they do change the name. And technically, right? Technically, for those of us that were there during the transition from the old DCA 1.0 to DCA 2.0, technically DCA already went through a name change, right? Um, and Mary Niven, who used to be the vice president of Disney California Adventure at the time, she was so adamant about people using the real correct name of Disney California Adventure, um, that like, and not the old version of it. And she also hated, by the way, DCA. I remember Mice Chat reporting on that. She helped transition DCA from 1.0 to 2.0 when they had it rededicated with a new plaque from Bob Iger, which you now see on Buena Vista Street. Um, the She hated the acronym DCA. Apparently, it was in like Mice Chat articles and stuff like that. But it originally opened as Disney's California Adventure. No park, just Disney's California Adventure. A lot of people still call it that, even to this day. Bloggers, YouTubers, everyone.
hey, it's really DCAP.
Yeah. So, but when they switched from DCA 1.0 to 2.0, they actually changed the name of the park. They dropped the apostrophe S, and it just became Disney California Adventure Park. And like when it first happened, like Mary Niven was like really like, my chat posted this article saying that like all the cast members were like drilled to use the real name, like they needed to add the word park in it, they needed to drop the apostrophe S, they didn't want to use the acronym DCA anymore. Um, but like it's just hard to change. Like people call it DCA all the time. So it's funny, but like it's already technically gone through a name change. So this would be the third time it changed names if it did. So
Yeah, Danny, look, hold on real quick. Before this is a fun topic to talk about. Right there. Disney's California Adventure.
No park. No park.
So, now it's Disney California Adventure
Park.
Park. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna start calling it decap. Yeah. So, hey, if you guys hear me go to California Adventure and I call it decap, let's make it a trend. I'm gonna start doing. Hey, we're going to decap. What the hell's decap? California Adventure Park. That's crazy. Dude, I had no idea. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Let me see. Where are we at? Where are we at? I'm just going through. My whole thing is that there's plenty of reservations for people who buy day tickets, and they really have slammed us pass holders. Hitting the Walt Disney World first week of May. Love being a pass holder there. I never hear pass holders complaining in Florida. I'll say that much. I'm a Walt Disney World pass holder. I have no complaints over there. I'm just reading right now. Mondo Danny, you can take a whole trip to Disneyland Paris and stay on Disney property for less than staying at the Disneyland Hotel here. It's just got wild. It's got wild. We got Ian with the super chat. Danny, I'm listening to your 5571 podcast on my commute. Love the detailed coverage, especially the Avatar speculation. Any new insight? Thanks. Very good question, Ian.
Yeah, no new insight at all, really. The only thing that was super interesting that Mondo and I kind of both got, we talked about like on like one, I forgot what speculation we talked about it on, but was and it's not even any sort of rumor that's any truth at all. It's just a like what if kind of thing, like what if this, that'd be good. Was bringing some sort of walkthrough experience to the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. We've seen what they can do with like the Villains Grove, so like maybe the Avatar experience comes to that area of the park. And it doesn't necessarily need to be something that has like these really huge, massive rides in it, and still be very phenomenal to walk through and interact with characters or, you know, large animatronic slash puppets, kind of like, you know, Blue the Raptor from Universal. So I think that was like the latest thing that we thought of. We were like, hey, that'd be a really good spot for it, but no true information just yet on it. So
I need a hat that says decap. Big fan 2019. Last question of the day. Mondo, when will construction start on the empty lot at downtown Disney? Dan, do you even feel like they have plans to do anything this year? I almost feel like Splash Mountain's going to take all their budget of anything construction related. That might just be a dirt field for the rest of the year. I could totally see it be a next year thing, and it kind of leads into D23. That's what I think. What are your thoughts,
yeah,
Danny?
I think a lot of companies are doing the best that they can to not have to lay off as many people as they did in like the past. But the fact of the matter is that we're entering a recession again. You know, so funny. Mondo and I lived through the first one, and then they said it was something that would never happen again in our lifetime, and here we go. So you know, where companies are laying people off, and then you know, Disney has already announced. I can't remember, Mondo. Was it 4,000 or 7,000?
Dude, originally I thought it was like 4,000, but more reports have said 7,000. I saw articles saying that this layoff's a bloodbath, and I'm just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of stayed out of that conversation because it's very sad and heartbreaking to hear anybody losing their job,
Yeah.
especially at Disney. Nobody wants to stop working for Disney.
So I
But
think they might have. The
it's just
reason
not good, dude.
the reason I'm bringing that up is because of that. I think maybe Disney's doing as best as they can to not have to lay off people, and maybe some of that is to prioritize and rearrange budgeting, right? And some of that may be like adjusting timelines, right? So maybe we sit a little bit longer with this pit over here in just downtown Disney because it's not a priority right now, and it's a way for them to save money on a certain fiscal year, right? We're entering in the third quarter of the fiscal year. The fiscal year for Disney ends in September, October. So they'll have a all new fiscal year's budget. So maybe we see some late summer construction on that area. There's no real need to have anything there right now, right? For the most part.
No, there's no push for anything downtown Disney.
Yeah, we didn't really have anything there. We had Earl of Sandwich, and basically everything else that was like AMC theaters that was there was abandoned. They had
What
a
was the Boo something Boo?
Sugar Boo and
Sugar
Co.
Boo?
That was nothing.
And
So
they used one of those rooms to house balloons for a while too. And I'm not
yeah,
exaggerating.
so it's literally
Not
you
no
know
loss. AMC, that was the heartbreaking loss a long time ago. At this point, that whole section of downtown Disney is just nothing. And
Yeah, and
it's
it could be too that they're holding it off because maybe they're changing plans again, right? Different leadership, right? They had announced all these plans for downtown Disney, which when you look at it again is kind of lackluster.
I'm still saying Galactic Star Cruiser was coming with Chapek, dude.
But maybe there's some more plans that they're trying to come up with that now that they're bringing back Bruce Vaughn into the executive leadership of Walt Disney Imagineering. Maybe there's some things that are changing around, right?
The whole vision could be different, totally.
Yeah. So
Even just the facade look of downtown Disney that we already seen, that we were all kind of like, it's just silver and plain. That could all be changed, big time, big time. Christy, family months of membership, fires, decap. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, Christy. Thank you so much for supporting the fire. And we also got a super chat real quick from Dina Locke. Thanks for the tip about Alice in Wonderland bathroom for parade. It was fire and had the best birthday trip ever. Happy birthday, Dina. And we also
remember.
What were we going to say, Danny?
Oh, go finish it.
Oh, I was going to say another happy birthday as well to Kiko from Carla and Kiko. Hey, too many more to Kiko, man. Shout out to Kiko from Carla and Kiko's Adventures. But happy birthday, Dina. What were we going to say, Danny?
I was going to say, just back on that topic really quick with DCAP, I remember the period when DCA changed names from Disney's California Adventure to Disney California Adventure Park, and how Mice Chat posted that article about Mary Niven really not liking DCA and not wanting cast members to use it and wanting to use the full name of Disney California Adventure Park. And I remember they had some sort of media event announcement after that, and I was in a crowd, and I can't remember where it was, but it was shortly after it might have been like the Cars Land reopening or something, but some executive was on stage, and they said DCA, and and then I remember someone in the crowd shouted out and said, "Don't tell Mary," like really loud, because like there was this whole like narrative that she like hated people that used DCA. So I just thought of that right now.
That's funny, dude. Damn.
Yeah.
So the decap is not that wasn't. They just hated it. It was.
They just wanted to like, because they felt like DCA brought with it like a bunch of preconceived notions about what kind of park it was, right?
Yeah.
They spent 1.2 or $2 billion redoing the park to make it better, and they spent more to make DCA better than what it cost to make originally. And that was because, all the original plans for DCA were scrapped, and they came up with a cheaper plan, which did really bad. And so then they had to kind of rethink it all and redo the park. And then they opened it up to what it is today. But, and even then, all that money they spent to redo it with the $2 billion or whatever it was, they were like redoing all that and getting rid of that because they got rid of all the theming they brought with that, right? They spent all this money and storyline into bringing a 1920s boardwalk theme, 1930s boardwalk theme to Disney California Adventure Park's Paradise Pier, and then they just overdid it with Bob Chapek with Pixar Pier, and like took away all the theming that they did on it. So
we need the decap forward.
So if you type in Disney California Adventure Park logo, you should get the new one, because that's the old one.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to show the old one. I wanted to show the old. So Disney California Adventure Park logo.
Yeah, no apostrophe s.
Let me look. Let me look.
The new one's yellow with like Mickey on it.
With Mickey on it. I don't see it, Danny.
It's the yellow. It's like white, black writing with like Mickey in one of the letters.
Oh, I think it might be this one. Um, like Mickey's face.
Yeah, pull it up so I can see.
Let me see. I don't know. I just put logo, and this is what popped up. I don't know if this is it or not.
Yeah, that's the new logo.
Oh,
That's
that's
the
the new.
logo.
I want to say I've never seen this logo.
It's on a lot of the merch actually. And
Really?
when the park
Damn.
reopened, in 2012 and was rededicated, that was on everything. That was like on
Wow.
the
Where's
maps.
the spirit jersey with this? That's awesome. But I want mine to say decap. All right, Danny. Closing thoughts on everything, man. Let's fire it down.
Yeah, I have a quick question that came in through the Venmo from
Oh, let's do it.
Kaylee Carnahan. She said, "What do you think the future of DCA holds? A name change or a whole overall retheme? Since DCA theme's super jumbled and not cohesive anymore. Also, do you think a character meal could come to Toontown, maybe in the old Gag Factory?" I think she means a character like dining experience. The Gag Factory is gone. The Gag Factory is now the gift shop and the queue, a majority of the queue for Runaway Railway. So there's no more Gag Factory space. It's all part of the line that you wait in that has all those amazing showrooms that you see all the props and stuff in on the ride. So there's literally no more space in Toontown unless they expand to make a character dining experience. But like Mondo was saying earlier, Daisy's almost like a character dining experience. She's walking around to people's tables, talking about how like asking them how their food is and everything. So
And she stops for photos with people on the tables.
yeah, so
What more do you want than that? What more do you
it's
want?
almost like a free character dining experience.
Dude, hey, I'll take it. I'll
Yeah,
take my
but
my my
I don't think
greasy
we're gonna
flop
have.
over and a daisy encounter. I love it.
Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be a character dining experience unless something happens with that, where like they expand it more. So, and then as far as DCA, we were kind of been talking about that. Obviously, there's they're kind of in a transition, kind of like I feel the way Hollywood Studios is, right? Hollywood Studios, now that they have Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge and just all the stuff that continues to be brought in over there, there's not really too much of a cohesive theme at Hollywood Studios anymore. Like, does it really look like a Hollywood Studios park anymore? Not really. There's no studio tour there like they were trying to do originally. They have the Chinese theater still, but it's just the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway ride. So it's
I
not
have no
truly.
idea why it's Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. So truly that park could change its name too. So I feel like Hollywood Studios and DCA, they even share the same entrance, right? They look exactly the same on the entrance. DCA actually copied its entrance from Hollywood Studios. They had it first.
And they're so farther from. There's nothing related anymore. We got Mission Breakout. They got Tower of Terror. They got what's it called? Toy Story Land. We got Avenger Campus. Like, just everything's different. There's nothing the same anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah. So there's potentially like a change coming in the future for DCA, but we just don't. We're
It's
not quite.
coming. I promise you, it's coming. I find it hard to believe 10 years from now we're calling it decap. It's gonna be something else. Carl and Kiko dropping the fire. Oh my Lanta. Oh my Lanta. Let's go. Gifting 5 memberships. What? Thank you, Carla and Kiko, for growing the Five Fire community. We got Mr. Friendly now a member, Karina a member. We got Joe a member, Jesse a member, and Prod by Legend. Let's go. Heck yeah. Thank you so much, Carla and Kiko. Thank you. I can't wait to hang out with you guys again when you guys come down. Real quick, too, before we get out of here, dude, Five Fire community is just growing. I love it, man. We got a super chat Where'd it go? From Stan the Man, 5 fires. Thank you, Mondo Danny, for all that you do. Love Speculation Sunday / Tuesday. Can you guys do a vlog about the gear you bring to the parks? Camera, etc. 5 fire. I could tell you what I bring. Danny will be the first one to agree with this. Right here. That's it. That's what I bring.
You have another camera too, though.
No, I know. I do. I totally do. But I want convenience. I'm going to be in a crowded area. I'm bringing my cell phone. Like, this is literally my vlog setup right here. I don't even bring a handle anymore. I just kind of handheld. I know Danny would enjoy this conversation. Let's have a 2-minute conversation, Danny. Apple iPhones have just got too goddamn good. And sometimes I'm like, I don't even know why I have a freaking camera. These things are insane. Apple camera 14 Pro Max, they've just become incredible. What are your thoughts, Danny?
Yeah,
that's literally all I gotta say.
It's definitely the nice part about. I mean, obviously, you're gonna have content like Ordinary Adventures, right, where they film on a really expensive, nice camera, where it looks so good and the quality and production value is like next level. But the reality of using something like an iPhone is that the barrier of entry, is down, right? So whereas you might have had to have a camera and have the knowledge of using that camera, like those big, large vlog cameras you see, that kind of was a barrier to entry for a lot of people because they get nervous with that. But everyone has a phone and everyone has some sort of smartphone that can probably film video pretty well. So I feel like in that sense, it's made it nice because almost anyone can
anybody can do it. I used to get asked that all the time. What should I buy? Use your cell phone. Straight up.
Yeah, it's really all about like what you're putting into it, like whether you're the story you're creating with the vlog you're making, or whether you're really good on the fly like Mondo is with like just knowing how to put it all together, or you're like someone like some of the vloggers out there that put these like really elaborate like themes for every video, like that's another thing too. Like you have to come up with your own story that like is how you want to make stuff. So
yeah, I do have days where I do want my quality to be better, and I bring out my nice camera. And I care about
like for Halloween time.
Yeah, cinematic mode, or not cinematic mode, but just I want whatever I'm filming to be more cinematic, more beautiful. I'll bring my camera, and it's called Halloween Horror Nights.
Halloween time.
Yeah, I care about my Halloween videos a lot. Those are like evergreen. I still go back and watch my videos. It's so good. Halloween Horror Nights is so good. Same thing with Scary Farm. I bring my nice camera every time to Scary Farm. It's so beautiful. But yeah, when you go to, for me personally, when I go to theme parks, a phone's all I take. A phone and a charging brick, and I'm good. I'm good. All right, Danny, that's it, man. Another amazing Speculation Sunday. Thank you guys so much for all the comments, the likes. If you haven't already, smash that like button. All the super chats, the new members, welcome. In like about 3 minutes or so, I'm going to go live for just the members only for like 20 to 30 minutes. So I'll see y'all real soon. But Danny, where can they find your podcast one more time before we get out of here?
Yeah, the 5571 podcast is available on all platforms. Just search the 5571 podcast and subscribe. New episodes usually on Monday or Tuesdays of the week, every week. So you can look forward to those. And you can find me on YouTube here on Sundays, or also on videos on my channel at Just Ask Danny.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Danny. All right, everybody. We are firing it down. The Cali Bang and Just Ask Danny are calling it a day. I'm the main host, Mondo.